moment and go get your favorite brew. Now join me on this video. Welcome back to the shop. Have a couple of projects here. I gave my old Maul and my wedge to my son to use, and while I was tool scouting, I found some new ones. So join me as we put these together and get them into good shape. Come on down to the bench. Let's take a closer look. All right, here we have what I found. I really like this handle. It seems to be in pretty good shape. The only problem is, I think it has, there's a little bit of a bow. We might see if we can't take care of that. What's interesting to me is the Maul that I gave my son has a sledgehammer handle in it, and the eye is round. This one here is an axe handle. It's all beat up, but the good news is whoever hung it put it way up high and didn't bring it down here on the shoulder. So I think we're going to have plenty of wood to work with to be able to file that and refit that so that it's further down. Now I don't know, I'm going to look at this. The point goes out here. It looks like it ought to be mounted the other way, but I will measure the eye and find out which one is bigger. The bigger part of the eye should be up here at the top, so when you put the wedge in, the wood spreads and holds the head securely. So we'll see if they have that on right or not, and we'll get it fixed up. I am not really sure, but that looks like an F and that looks like a T. If that's an A, is that Craftsman? There's an S missing. Can't tell if that's an M. Can't tell what any of that there is. All I can see is what looks like an F and a T. And a partial letter there. So I'm not sure. Might need to get something here to compare it to. The FT. Boy, I don't know. It's awfully hard to tell. So anyways, I would just be guessing. Let's take a real close look at something I found. Let's forget that screwdriver. Take a look at this. See those double lines right there? That looks like double lines. And that could be a C, missing an A, and that could be the R, F, T, S. So I'm more convinced than ever than I was before that this is a Craftsman. If I'm wrong, I can live with it, but I think it's worth fixing up. Somebody had it painted orange. I don't know if that's original, but I have used orange and I like orange, so I think we'll paint it to orange again. take a look at just how tight that is all the way around there. So I am very happy with that. Let's cut this off, get our wedge set, and we'll have a good functional hatchet or maul. All right, we got the bit cleaned up on this one and a coat of paint on it. While that's drying, let's get to the wedges. All right, these wedges have been worked hard. Look at the curling and the mushrooming on this one here. It has been beat senseless. This here is metal that's flaking. That's not, I don't know what else you'd guess that is, but that is the metal actually flaking off from being pounded and hardened. So we're going to take a cutting wheel and cut all these off. Try to cut them off, not quite 45 degrees, but cut them so that they taper back to the head here, and really clean that up and get rid of all this flaking here. This one here isn't in as bad a shape. I'm presuming this was used primarily simply because it's so big. But let's go get that mushrooming cut off. Alright, just look how nice and shiny these came out. I put them in an acid dunk and they came out rust free. So we've cleaned them up. I took and sanded the handle and put it in the linseed oil. Tell you what, that grain orientation is just perfect. The only flaw that I see is that knot right there. So I don't know if that'll make a weak spot there or not. But if you swing it properly and aim properly, it shouldn't be a problem. We'll get that mounted on the head. Right now I'm going to take these. We're going to stick them in this little mount. And we're going to go ahead and spray them. So we'll keep moving. All right, got our block of wood down here. We got it tightened down in the vise. Got our wedge, our barrel wedge. Let's go ahead and get this thing put together. Well, I'm happy with how tight that came out. I cut with the saw a little bit poorly right there. So I've got a little bit of a step up, but the rest of that is good and full. Hit the grinder just a little bit right there. What I'm also really happy about is, if you look down here, there is absolutely no gap. It is just as tight as can be all the way around. So I think that is a really good fit up. So take this, and let's get some linseed oil on this eye. Make sure it stays nice and swollen. So I cut off a little bit, so that might have made a difference. This one here though is all of 5 pounds, and I cut quite a bit off of that, so it must have been close to 5.5 almost. All right, well, I am really happy with the way these tools turned out. I've got the Maul right here. I've got the 2 wedges, and I am pleased with the way they turned out. We're going to put them to use, see if we can't make them work. The main way that I like to do this is to put a big old notch right there with the Maul. If it splits, great. If it doesn't, then we go to the wedges. So let's give this a try. All right, that gives us a good notch. What I'd like to do then is try and start with the smallest wedge first. Let's start driving it home. Now we're starting to get a good crack in there. And once we get that crack going, we can put our second wedge in. That's the value or the benefit of using 2 wedges. Put that wedge in and get it started. Then you use both wedges in tandem. Drop that down, and then should be able to pull out your smallest wedge. And if you need to, you can put your small wedge in another crack. You can see how that's already starting to give. Now we have great, taking that big old round, and we've split it. Man, those work great. Well, these wedges worked out so well, along with this Maul. One of these days, I want to get myself a splitting axe. Now, you can argue, because that eye is in there the way it is, that this is an axe, but it is more of a Maul because of that big, thick, fat cheeks. I really, really, really like the Norland splitting axe. It's almost, I think it's a 4.5, 5 pound axe. Love to get one, but they are so expensive right now, trying to get one on eBay. But for now, this is going to serve me wonderfully. It's a really good, comfortable axe. It's got a good handle. That grain orientation is great. And if you can't get the job done in one hit with this, once you put that bit in there and get a notch, you can then start a wedge and get the rest of the job done with these two projects, with these two tools. So you saw the caddy that I used when I was carrying the tools back to the job site. On the next video, I'll give a little closer look at what that was. It's just an idea of mine. I like to keep my things together because my experience is you'll find the Maul in the corner, but you can't find where these things are. They're either under something in a bench, on the bench, or they've fallen off the bench and down on the floor or under the bench, or they've been kicked around somewhere. And so in order to keep it all organized and keep it where we need it to be, we put it in the caddy, and we'll take a closer look at that next time. So thanks so much for joining me on this video. It's always fun to share these things with you, and I hope you enjoy them. Give us a thumbs up. Join us on the next video. Look for the videos. I try to get them out on Monday and Friday, and hopefully we can keep that schedule up. But thanks so much for joining me. Hope to see you next time. Have a great day and God bless.